So I'm going to show you the trip of Ponce de Leon, the watermark, the same trip I did from Puerto Rico to San Agustin, Florida, through the coast of Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, and mainland states. San Agustin, all the way down to Miami and Cuba, Havana. That was the same trip Ponce de Leon did in 1513 when he discovered Florida. See you. When I arrived in Puerto Rico 20 days before departing, I had just the idea, but I didn't have a support boat. I didn't have the boat, neither, my water scooter. I had to prepare a new one just on the side, and I had to prepare everything, and it was a real race to obtain, all the support, all the equipment, all the necessary gadgets, navigation things, and everything. But a lot of people helped me, a lot of people that would trust this idea, and that would help to commemorate the 5th centennial of the discovery of Florida. Well, yes, the discovery of Florida is a big event in the history of America, and especially in the history of the United States. Florida was Spanish for more than 300 centuries. Actually, the Spanish flag has been flying in the United States more time than the United States flag, which has been flying 200 years and a bit more, and the Spanish flag 314 years. That means that when preparing the expedition in Puerto Rico, all the people were very emotional about this initiative because it was meaning to link the history of Spain and the USA, Puerto Rico and Florida and Cuba, because the idea was to follow the watermark of Juan Ponce de Leon 500 years later, from San Juan de Puerto Rico all the way to San Agustin, Florida, and then down to La Habana, Cuba. The trip was very, very nice, but very risky as well. I have to admit, it was a risky thing. I would depart the 20th of March from San Juan de Puerto Rico, heading San Agustin, Florida, following exactly the same path of Juan Ponce de Leon. That meant traveling from Puerto Rico to the Dominican Republic, and from the Dominican Republic to Turks and Caicos archipelago, Bahamas, Florida, West Palm Beach, and up then to San Agustin. Is a long journey, almost all the coast of Florida, and from there all the way down to Miami, Key West, and cross the canal to Havana, Cuba. That was exactly what Juan Ponce de Leon did in the 16th century, in 1513, and the main objective was to arrive on the exact date Juan Ponce de Leon arrived in 1513, the 3rd of April. That's why I had to be prepared for the stages and try to refuel in every port of call I would find in Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, Bahama, and mainland the states, Florida, and try to find gas, water, food, try to find somewhere to sleep, or even sleep aboard my water scooter, my small boat, drifting somewhere in the middle of the ocean. I'm used to sleep in the ocean. Is, as I call it, the 1,000 stars hotel. It's a bit scary, I must admit, but it's very peaceful, it's very challenging, interesting, And well, I'm so tired. I sleep very fast and very well. It's a bit cold. That's the main problem. Sometimes actually I sleep during the daytime, like 4 hours, 3 hours, so I can sail along the whole night, which is sometimes easier because I have more reference with the stars than I have when there is only the sun as a reference in my way. I navigate with the help of a compass and a GPS, so I need the best reference as possible because I cannot see the compass all the time. I just know that this is my route, so I have to see what is the sun by day or which stars to follow by night. That's why it's much more easy for me to sail along by night time. Well, of course, seeing the dolphins is incredible. It's like soulmates. It's like there is a communication with these animals. It's like they know what you're doing and they want to help you and they want to kind of protect you. So when I see the dolphins in the front of my little craft, it's like, I don't know, like having the energy of these creatures, that they are so close to us humans. They are so free. They are so happy. They are so intelligent and nice. And to have them around my little water scooter is an incredible emotion. Every time happens to me since I started navigating back in 1982. When I'm tired, when I'm a bit desperate, always there's dolphins appearing magically from nowhere and sailing with me and jumping in front my little Numancia, my little boat, and it's just amazing. Of course, to see creatures is fantastic, like the turtles, like manta raya, I don't know the name in English, manta I think is the name, all these sharks as well, jellyfish. Sometimes it's sad because I can see like turtles eating supermarket plastic bags. They think they are a jellyfish. Of course, they die out of that. Sometimes I go and swim with them and try to get these plastic bags out of their throat, but they are almost died, and it's sad to see how we humans use the ocean as a big garbage place, not taking care of its importance for the balance of nature, not being sure, not having knowledge that the ocean is weak and needs us to protect it. It's also very sad to see illegal fishing. These horrible people just stealing all they can from the depths of the ocean. They would maybe use 10% of the creatures they kill. They don't mind because they want to earn more and more and more, and for that they kill anything just to have their 10% to make this money, which is tainted with blood of creatures we need for the balance of nature. The ocean need to be equilibrated, and that these illegal fishermen just destroy in a horrible way. Well, it's very, very sad to see all this killing of dolphins and sharks. Well, then they say the sharks is dangerous for humans, but we are dangerous for them. How many sharks kill women? How many sharks are killed by men? No, it's impossible to establish a relationship. We are killing the ocean. We are killing the species. We are behaving bad, And from my small craft, I can be a witness of this situation, and I like to film it and denounce this, and through these programs to convince people how important is to keep nature, and especially our oceans. Well, of course, navigating from island to island, when I lose the coast in the back of my little boat, and I'm just alone, hoping to see the next coast, and now 1 hour and 3 hours and 5 hours pass and 10 hours and 12 hours and there's no coast, I start sometimes to get a bit nervous, but I try to remain calm, knowing that most probably the next island will appear in the horizon. And this is a very special moment, because then I realize how weak I am, flying above this immense universe of sea depths we know nothing about. And of course, when I see the coast by day or the light by night, is a big relaxation. It's a big it's a big moment in my crossings, because it means that one lap is completed and that motherland is welcoming me. And this is of course always a big spiritual moment, because being alone aboard such a small craft, in permanent communion with the immense universe, limitless, knowing that I'm flying some surface we know nothing about. We know just 3% of what's going on in the depths of the ocean. We know nothing about the rest 97%. So everything is unknown, everything is mysterious, everything is new, everything is creation of God. And all around, I can feel God. That's why I pray, because I feel God through the power of creation, the power of nature, the power of the ocean, the stars, the skies, the sun, the rain, the storm. And this is fantastic, because to navigate feeling God very close is something I cannot feel when I'm inland. It's very important in the ocean to feel how we are all feeling brothers. If something going bad, somebody will help you, if it happens to be somebody around. If I see somebody with problems, even with my small craft, I will go and I will try to help. Same thing, if I'm in trouble and somebody will have the opportunity to give me a hand, we say, to launch me a rope. I wish inland everybody would be able to send a rope to the other person. There will be no so many wars, no so many hate, and we would be reunited in brotherhood, in peace, in love. That's why I am very happy in the ocean, because all what I see is harmony, peace, and love. Not only when I cruise near the dolphins, in calm waters, also when I'm in the middle of the storm, because even there is harmony, and the storm always is the door for the calm, for the harmony. Well, yes, one of the most difficult experience of my life, actually, and the toughest day of the whole expedition was cruising from Nassau, Bahamas, all the way to San Agustin, Florida. There was a 400 nautical miles I had to do in one go, 37 hours non-stop. And that would be the only way to arrive on the historical date, the 3rd of April, 2013. Thank God I arrived at noon, but the most problematic thing there was to face a big storm between Nassau and Freeport. It was amazing to see the storm in front of me. It was all gray. I could see the rain. It was like, I don't know, like a gray curtain in front of me, far away, but it was just in my curse. I had to hit it. And of course, I thought, should I go back to Nassau and just be more secure, renounce to arrive on the historical date? Or should I try to face this storm, try to dominate my fear, try to feel that after the storm there is always calm? Somebody told me, do it, go for it. It will be scary, you will fight a lot, you will be very cold, you will fall off, but you should do it. It will not last long time. So I decide to face it, and I decide to go straight to the storm. Navigating on the storm, as you can see in these images, it was just incredible. I mean, just the sound of the rain was so important, so high, that of course the engine sound will be annihilated by the rain and the thunderstorms, and to see this lightning all around me was very scary. I couldn't see 2 meters in the front of me. Thank God I had my compass, my GPS, and I could just feel, because there's no reference, just by the way the waves look. This was my only reference. No sun, no stars, nothing. And after 2 hours fighting, suddenly, like a cave, I could see like the sunset light and the end of the storm. I was like going to a flat waters field, kind of incredible space, like outer space actually, and no noise, total calm, and suddenly the sun dying in front of me. It was a fantastic experience, and when I was looking in the back of me and I could see still the gray color and the storm and the rain, I would think that, as it happens in life, we have a lot of storms in our daily, day-to-day adventures. But if we face these storms, if we fight them, maybe sometimes we can win. But we always win if we fight them. There is the triumph. Fight, and then you win. No. The first night, I couldn't go all the way to the Dominican Republic as I thought, as I planified. So I had to stop in Aguadilla, which is a small village, a small port, fishing port, and sleep just in the sand, on the ocean, on the beach. I would anchor my little boat. For that, the U.S. Coast Guard helped me with finding some anchors and some a little mattress and a plastic to cover myself in the night, and I would sleep. There was some cockroaches around, but didn't happen. I slept very well, and I wake up with the sun. Well, when I woke up, first thing I went is to my bathroom, which is the ocean, wash my teeth, and I was very happy because I had already completed one day. So, as you know, the path is made with the first step. So the first step of the path was made. So I was happy. And that's why I just decided to continue all the way to the Dominican Republic. Saying goodbye to my friends of the U.S. Coast Guard was fantastic. These people felt a lot about my expedition, and by radio, they were always connected in the Puerto Rico waters, and it was very nice to count with help. And they know very well what's going on in the ocean, so the respect and the support was very important for me. It was key, actually. Departing from Aguadilla towards Dominican Republic was fantastic. The water was flat until La Mona Island. It's the name Canal de La Mona, which is La Mona Canal. La Mona is a little island in the middle of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and it's very famous since all times for the rough waters because its currents is very deep, up to 8,000 meters, like the Mount Everest but negative, down to the depth of the Atlantic. So to cross it is always a bit scary. And already I knew that from the middle of the canal, the ocean would be rough, as it was. So I would cross the canal. It took me 8 hours, and finally, after fighting quite a lot, I fell a couple of times, and I saw the coast of La Española. La Española is the island where the Dominican Republic and Haiti are, and nowadays. And the first port of call was Punta Cana. Arriving in Punta Cana, it was very sunny, and it was great. All these people from the Dominican Republic, welcoming and being very warm. It's 500 years of common history, traditions, religion, culture, language. So with Spaniards and the Dominicans or Puerto Ricans or Spanish America nations, we are always very together, very tight, and it was fantastic to be there and to feel how they were happy that this expedition was already on the second day. Well, the third navigation day was to navigate all the way from Punta Cana to Samaná. Samaná is a very special place because all the whales used to go by there in precisely this time of year, end of March, and it was amazing to contemplate these big creatures and also the kids around, and it was just unique. And arriving in Samaná was a big emotion as in Punta Cana. I was welcome in Hotel Bahía, Puerto Bahía, and Puerto Bahía is a fantastic place where all these people working there, and the owners especially, just gave me a lot of strength, a lot of energy, and I really like to be there. I've been already I was there 10 years ago, but it was fantastic to be again in Samaná. Well, the fourth day was just going all the way to Puerto Plata. Puerto Plata, it was far away. It was like a 12 hours journey. And I arrived already by night. It was very dark. But it was nice to navigate along the coast of the Dominican Republic. You know, cutting bays, going very far away from mainland. From the land, I mean, from the island shores, and well, lots of times I lose eye contact with the shore, but at the end I could arrive to Puerto Plata. It was fantastic, also to arrive there. Fifth day was just going from Puerto Plata to Turks and Caicos. For that, 120 nautical miles, the range was almost in the limits, because it's always good to have like 20-30 miles more in range than the actual distance I will do, and that's why these friends of mine from Puerto Plata accompany me several miles, like 20 miles aboard a little boat. And I would give them my GoPro cameras, and that's why they could film these images you can see now from my water scooter, because otherwise there's no images from outside of my boat. It's just the images I could record with my GoPros. That's why with my GoPro. That's why it was nice to have them like accompany like this hour, and then I said goodbye, and I would just face the last 100 miles alone. I arrived in this incredible island that was, I mean, probably the most beautiful island I saw in the whole trip. This has no name because it's very, very small, close to Salt Key, which was the port of call. I arrived on the fifth journey. Well, Salt Key was very famous in Turks and Caicos because there was a big salt industry there for just almost a century. That's why it's called Salt Key, and it's a beautiful place. I was very well treated by all the immigration authorities and fishermen, people, and it was fantastic. On the next days from Turks and Caicos, I had to go along the islands of the Bahamas archipelago. Bahamas is a big country. It's as big as Italy in length, and it's quite dangerous because in a lot of areas there's no enough depth. So even for my little water scooter, for my little vessel, it was difficult sometimes to navigate there, and I had to take care not to be just trapped by the depth and by the stones. It was dangerous, to break my little boat. That's why I had to be very attention to where I was going, and try not to have a big problem there. I had to sleep several nights aboard my little boat, and it was very cold by night, and it was very difficult to find petrol, gasoline, food, and water. It's very unpopulated. The islands are huge. There's nothing there, no ports, no villages. So it was difficult to find my way and to find the logistics, the simple and basic logistics was very, very tough. Finally, I arrived to Nassau, the capital of the Bahamas, In Nassau, I could arrive to the same port of call in Ocean Marina that welcomed me back in 2002 when I crossed the Atlantic from Italy to New York, from Rome to New York. And it was the same people, the same joy and the same good vibes, Bahama people, fantastic, Caribbean. And I remember it like a really beautiful moment, and gave me a lot of strength to depart the next day. The Nassau St. Augustine stage, as we commented before, was the worst. Very long, very cold, 1 night and a half kind of thing, 37 hours non-stop. The storm, but finally I arrived in Freeport, and from there I arrived in West Palm Beach. I refueled in West Palm Beach. That was the US media that arrived there because they heard that I was arriving. They could see via my satellite points that I was arriving already, so they welcomed me in a very, very fantastic way. And from there, I just went up to Cape Canaveral, and I arrived finally at noon on the next day in St. Augustine. Arriving in St. Augustine on the 3rd of April 2013, on the historical date of Ponce de Leon's arrival in 1513, was a unique moment for me. I arrived with the Spanish flag in front of the San Marcos castle, and then I would fly the flag of Russia in honor of my second and beloved country, and then France, Britain, and the Spanish Armada flag. The reason I would fly the French and British flags was because, despite we were very dear enemies for a lot of centuries, there's some British and French history in Florida. Despite the presence of Spain was much more long and important, but they were there, and we are now allies, we're friends, and that's why I wanted to honor these two sister nations and honor them in front of the Castillo de San Marcos. To fly the Armada, the Spanish Armada flag in front of the San Marcos castle was a unique moment, as it was the same flag Ponce de Leon would fly when he arrived 500 years ago. In the Castillo de San Marcos, we can still see the old 16th century Spanish flag, which is the San Andrew cross. As in Russia, that was by the time a very important symbol in Spain, and that was our flag for centuries. There is still flying in San Marcos Castle. It was fantastic to be welcomed by the mayor of St. Augustine. He was very happy that this expedition was completed. The expedition was actually in the official calendar of the 5th centennial of the discovery of Florida, and he was very nice with me. He welcomed, I gave him the flags I took, a Spanish flag, the Armada flag, the Russian flag, and he was pronouncing these fantastic words in front of the monument of Ponce de Leon in San Agustin, Florida. It was 500 years commemoration. It was great sensation. On the last lap, well, it was a lot of laps, but the last part of the expedition was navigating from San Agustin to Cuba. That was not easy, because crossing to Cuba with the embargo and political things between the States and Cuba is a bit tricky. But thank God, the US authorities, the Minister of Treasury, and the Cuban authorities gave me all the permits to navigate aboard my US immatriculated, registered boat to Cuba and then back to Miami, because the stage was San Agustin, Miami, Cuba, and back to Miami. It was very nice to sail along the coast of Florida, to see the Cape Canaveral installations of the space shuttle and all these astronauts things, knowing that Cape Canaveral was named like that by Ponce de Leon because there was a lot of caña, of cinnamon trees there. It was a big emotion, and it's scary as well because you see all these big structures, and well, despite the shuttle program is not working anymore, there's always the remainings, and I saw it by night when going up to San Agustin. I saw it again by daytime when I went down. So it was very impressive to see all these big aerospace installations. And then I went all the way down again to West Palm Beach and arrived in Miami, spent 2 days repairing the boat, and then went to Key West and crossed all the way to Cuba. Crossing to Cuba was great. It was very bad weather condition. The ocean was very rough, but it was very nice. It was very nice to link, the states, Florida, Cuba, Spain, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Bahamas, all this fusion of nations in the 5th centennial of the discovery of Florida, of what is it today, the USA. Arriving in Havana was a unique moment in my life. The ambassador of Russia was there, and the Cuban authorities, they were very kind with me. There was a doctor, just wanted to check my health. It's been the first time in my life in 30 years navigating that a doctor welcomes me in the port, arriving port, and it showed the interest and the love of these people. I love them. I love Cuba. It was great to be there and to arrive aboard my small craft. And the last lap was already departing from Cuba back to Miami. And for that, I was very lucky because this day was very flat. So I just crossed it in 4 hours. I spent more than 10 hours coming from Key West to La Habana, but when going back, on the next navigation day, it took me only 4 hours. And it was a fantastic trip, high speeds, up to 50 knots, which is incredible in the ocean. It's like 75 kilometers per hour. And it was just great to arrive in Key West, and from there, just arriving in Miami. Then I arrived in Miami from San Agustin, and the mayor of Miami, Regalado, wanted to welcome me as well. And he said very nice words about the link of Europe and the Americas, Spain and the USA in the 5th centennial of the discovery of Florida by Juan Ponce de Leon. Well, I'm used to navigate always standing up. I never sit down because I would break my spine if I sit down with all these strikes, and I would also burn my skin. because of the neoprene. So I stand up every hour of every day. I'm used to it, and I love it. It's like going aboard a dolphin. It's like you standing up on a dolphin that rides you between the waves and lets you discover everywhere possible in the ocean. Navigating so many hours, always standing up, is very demanding from the physic point of view. That's why I lose up to 2 or 3 kilos a day. I recover eating as much as I can at the ports of call. I always carry some dry fruits, some chocolate, some water as well. It's key to have always water aboard my little Numancia. And I try to not feel hungry when there is nothing to eat. Not feel tired when I cannot sleep. And that's cool because you educate yourself, and you realize that your physical needs, of course, are important, but you can control them. Things are very easy when going to the toilet. Imagine how big is the ocean. So, no problem. I wash my teeth with the salt water. I'm doing that for the past 30 years when I'm sailing, and it's great sensation, very clean, and great for the health. I will explain you why my boat is called Numancia. 20 centuries ago, all of Europe was occupied by Rome. There was one little town that couldn't be conquered. Finally, the emperor sent the best of his generals, Escipión el Africano, to conquer this little town. The people suffered a siege for a long time, several years actually, but they would never surrender. When they were almost died of hunger, the mothers killed the children and they committed suicide, and the soldiers burned the city and killed themselves. They would never surrender because the honor, the independence, and the freedom prevailed. There were a little town in Spain called Numancia. And the history of Numancia is the history of commitment we all should have in our heart and in our lives, in our adventures. To try to fight always and never surrender. Fight, go for your dream, and if you fight every day, despite you arrive or not to the last port of call, you are the winner. It's the only way. Fight means win, and it's easy. Always when I arrive at the ports of call, people, they see this kind of a space looking water scooter, antennas, radios, GPS, some stickers, some lights, and they see this sailor all burned and with the face very tired or whatever, and they always welcome, they always try to help, and they hold me. And this is one of the best sensations of the expeditions, to feel the power, love, friendship of people I never saw before, I will maybe never see before again, but they are brothers in the ocean. Well, when I sleep aboard my water scooter, about my little Numancia, I just place my legs on the front and I lie down and I try to, of course it moves, it's a bit, it's not the best bed, but it's the best setting, the best environment. Despite it's cold, it's a bit scary, and you see the stars and the comets, and it's amazing. And I managed to sleep 2-3 hours, never more than 6-7 hours, but 3-4 hours, 2 hours normally, yes, it's enough to recover the energy and just continue. One of the worst moments is when the propeller, which is a turbine, gets some plastic or ropes or any kind of garbage floating, and the engine just stops. So it's not very nice when it happens by night. I have to put on my goggles, take a flashlight, big knife I have, go down to the ocean and try to take all these, cut the ropes, cut the plastics which are in the intake of the turbine, of the propeller. And that can take an hour, half an hour, 2 hours. And by night the sharks are more in the hunting mood. So, well, I know about it, but there's nothing else I can do, so I have to remain calm and hope that nobody is around too close to use me as a little picnic. And I try to get it out and just go back to my little boat and continue. It's very dangerous when there is stones, reefs along the way. And it happened a lot in the Bahamas and in Turks and Caicos as well. But especially in the Bahamas, as you can see in these images, there was like suddenly you see a rock in the middle of nowhere and you have to avoid it and try not, of course, to hit it in a minimum way, because it represents the end of the craft and the end of yourself. Well, suddenly there's these birds following, and it's fantastic, to feel how they follow you, and they expect maybe some food, because they think you are a boat, and boats always they have some unfortunately garbage and some birds taken, but it's great because they approach really a lot, and as you can see in these images, it's great to see them.